G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
How are you, BP?
Very well. How is everyone? Wow, how exciting is it? Everything's just happening all at once. It's been Olympics and now we've got this other some event on, but it's just non-stop, isn't it?
Non-stop. Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Deussen.
All my Olympics and America's Cup at the moment is trying to be as quiet as possible. Just walked into the crew apartment in Barcelona last night. They all got home at about midnight, 1 a.m. And I'm not sure how thick the walls are, but I've got pillows stacked up. Someone just knocked on the wall.
Egg cartons taped to the wall.
Love it.
So, no, all good. Just landed in Barcelona. So, here for the action.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ready. Yeah.
Happy days.
It's going to bring that voice
now.
out.
Absolutely.
It's going to bring that voice to its absolute optimum.
100%.
Yeah, that's right.
Boys, happy Father's Day.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I better do that as well.
Southern Hemisphere. It's Father's Day, and I just wish my two colleagues happiest of Father's Day, and to everyone out there,
Yeah.
happy Father's
Been a
Day.
lovely day today so far.
Yeah.
Lovely day here in Sydney.
Yeah, cool. What we're going to do something different today. We have decided that to create what we call the People's Panel. Every few weeks we're going to, while the cup's on, we're just going to get some of people that we really want to chat to on.
I thought you were going to say a couple of randoms.
No, that we think have got some real insight into the cup that other people wouldn't be clued onto, and so we just want to get some people that we really want to have a chat to on the show, and we're using the People's Panel. So if you think you should be on the People's Panel, feel free to send it through. But we're going to try and regularly do this. We decided to kick today's off with a Father's Day special. We've got a father and a son on the show. We've got probably our most famous never-before guest in terms of...
I was going to say, he'd have to be one of the most famous names on the show, wouldn't it?
We've mentioned him more than just about any other human being on the show, I would suggest, but that's because of his humour. So we have, first off, the son, Nick Deussen. He's uniquely experienced because he's grown up. I've seen Nick in his nappy with a baton bashing away on his dad's dinghy a couple of weeks ago. No, when he was one. Sailed Sharpies, won some like trailer boats, offshore boats, and president of the Australian Moth Association for a while. So foiling experience. And then his dad is Robbie Deussen, who is former America's Cup tactician, then decided not to do the pro thing and went and ran the family business, and then just decided to collect every Australian championship he could in international classes. So 14s, FDs, 505s, what else? Melgers, pretty much. Is there others? Others, Fritz?
I never won in a 14.
Oh, you didn't win the 14. Sorry.
No,
Sharpies. Sharpies.
14.
Sharpies.
Or the rainbow.
Yeah.
Or the rainbow.
No, or the rainbow. I actually look at it now. I could see myself going back into them, actually.
Anyway, boys.
Out there now.
Welcome to the show.
Pretty easy win, shouldn't it?
They look good.
So for those who didn't pick that up, for those who didn't pick that up, it's the name Fritz is how we generally call him, and super talented family.
That's why we're half German. That's the reason why. It's actually pronounced Deussen, but the way Jordan says it is so far what it should be called, but it doesn't matter. It's good.
I've seen it that way my whole life, and I'm not changing.
No, everyone does.
You've obviously heard him. You've obviously heard him pronounce his French names.
Well, there I'm good at.
Yeah.
Anyway, just
really
to put
doesn't
up my
care.
role in the show.
Yeah.
My role in the show is his translator. Just half the time he can't understand what he's saying.
Love it. All right, boys. We're going to talk about the Cup. You both, Fritz, you've done the tactics. Nick, you've foiled. So you've got insight, and you boys can red hot sail. So you'll be seeing things at an elite level, which I think a lot of people are missing stuff when we watch this stuff. I'm loving it. I'm interested. The Cup, the coverage, watching the racing. Are we excited? Are we enjoying it?
Well, we're pumped. Dad's up here visiting me at the moment, and we spent most of every day when we're not chasing kids around the house, watching the replays overnight and that kind of thing. So I'm right into it, and I think many other sailors, as I can tell from Facebook, probably are too.
Yeah.
I from my point of view, I do love it when there's good racing. And the difficulty in this light stuff is the stress levels that would be involved in those boats from when they tack and jibe, when it's that marginal 6 to 8 knot wind range is, I don't think anyone could put that same sort of pressure on unless you're sort of doing $1 million golf shot or something like that. It'd be really difficult. That I find, I love a few of the races have been really good, but it seems that there's 3 to me standout boats that are in this Cup, and 2 others that could be all right.
Okay.
I think just on that point you just made, sorry, Jay, just quickly, that point you just made, and we're going to talk about this, is in these conditions, you can see they're all very standoff. They don't want to be affected. They want to stay on the foils, and you can see that on 2 or 3 occasions it's happened already in the last 2 days, and it destroys the race. So that's which leads to another question we're going to bring up later.
So we have to acknowledge that it's light conditions. So what we're seeing in these current conditions could be all different. Add another 5 or 10 knots to the equation.
100%.
What we see could be completely different. So I'm interested in that. So you're going to say something, Fritz? What was you about to say, bud?
Oh no, I was just going to say the tactics are so completely different to what we're all used to.
Yes.
The wind effect on these boats is just unbelievable. It doesn't seem you can sail through someone's bad air and get into clear air.
Yep.
Because in this wind range, you'll end up dropping off the foils. You've got a chance of dropping off the foils. So there's, I don't know, the Moth guys like Nick and all that would have a lot better perspective of that sort of thing other than what I do. But I've learned truckloads just watching that. How you might do it differently, but let's face it, these guys have got a lot more brains on board than what we'll ever have about it. So, whatever we've thought of, they've been through and done all that before. So we're only sort of trying to cover stuff that, that stands out to us, but it's probably nowhere near the truth.
So one thing, I'm not sorry I'm dominating here a bit, but one thing really jumped out to me is just how clever some of these sailors are. Like some of the things that the way they're seeing up the course and the way they're thinking about it and those manoeuvres. I think one thing you're referring to is probably overnight, Fritz, that race 11 with the UK and Italy, where it was the Poms reached off on starboard and went to the wrong boundary. You'd never, that's just golden rule. You don't reach on starboard. You don't do, because you're coming back and you've got no rights, so you never see anyone go out there. And then for them to go out there, they've made a calculated, they've done all the analysis and worked out that exactly it's about that clear air. And then they tried to get it so they could tack just in front and get back and lead back because they thought that was going to win for them. So it's new game. There's stuff happening all the time that's slightly different to what we would normally do in a match race.
Well, sorry, I don't want to dominate either, but I was just on that same note when a couple of those breezes seemed to be that left-hand bias, but right-hand pressure track. I was thinking, rather than try and stay up at 22 knots and not be able to tack and get boat speed, what happens if you jibe around and then do that when you're sort of gaining speed all the time through it and never going to get down to that 22? But like I said, they know a lot more than I do about it.
Well, then a couple of days ago, the Yanks went out and granny tacked to keep themselves on the foil.
Yeah, because you don't want to sail through that dirty air when you jibe, you're sailing through dirty air.
They must know
sailing through your own dirty air.
The exact number between what manoeuvre they can do. Is it 6.5 knots, 7 knots, 7.5 knots? Like the targets on what to do there must be pretty. I mean, and let's face it, it was known as a light air event or light air location.
Yep.
So they would have done their homework there for sure. It's not a surprise for them.
The thing I'm kind of reminded of is from the Moth days, and it applies to any boat, but you just got to have a really good excuse to tack. Right. Because there's particularly when you're no good, you're a very low chance of foil tacking in that light air.
Right.
And so your risk calculus is completely different to what it would be in a traditional boat. This is just that on steroids.
Yeah.
Which comes
and the only excuse here is a boundary.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We're going to the lay line. Oh, just one tacking in from the start line.
Yeah. Well,
make the boundary smaller. We're saying, aren't we?
No. We've had this discussion.
That's a good.
Go on, by.
No, I was just going to say that's a good argument. Whether I'm guessing it's sort of. Well, if I had to guess, I'd say 75% of people would want the boundaries wider, and probably 25 will want them narrower. That's only my guess.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you guys think?
The size. Let's talk about it because the race officer, we all know who it is. Fantastic job. The race officer team, the management team. One thing that's jumped out to me is how clever they've been in setting the size of that start box. So when you do escape out on port to that boundary, you hit that boundary and have to come back. You can't come back at full speed and lay into the start. You have to burn some speed. They've clearly set that to make it more tactical where, do you go high? Do you scrub speed? They've clearly
we saw that.
Yep.
Saw that yesterday, didn't we?
Yep.
A blatant, obvious one where with American Magic and the French, wasn't it? Wasn't it the French, the race, and they went past the start line and both came back, and French came off the foils.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right.
American Magic dipped back from the other side, away from the port end.
Yeah, completely. It's amazing, isn't it? Like what we're seeing, the way they're sailing and making that decision. So yeah, you're exactly right. Then that decision then about the width of the box, the race course, to me seems like I reckon a lot of thought would have gone into that. Is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I was the other day watching both Cup and the TP Super Series at the same time.
Yep.
And the Cup was the start and the first half of the first leg, and you pretty much knew what was going on then. There was a few different examples, and Super Series was the mark roundings.
Yeah.
And that's where the excitement was.
Right.
But definitely in the start. And like you say, Jordan, to that time on distance, they're pretty good at it, though.
Yeah. Oh, exceptional.
Yeah. I find, in my view, that the boundaries kind of in this match race in this small course, particularly in the light air, they actually reduce tactical options for the trailing boat.
Yep.
I think you really do to clear out, and, if you end up short tacking to try and duck someone's cover.
Yep.
Those manoeuvres are so expensive on a narrow course that you just can't do it. Whereas without those boundaries, I mean, traditional match racing has tacking duels, and I don't know, maybe we would find that if those boundaries weren't in place.
This leads to a question that I'd like to ask everyone here. I mean, and I sort of brought it up during the week in conversation with Jordan. I mean, have we made these boats, or have the designers, or are we at a position where these boats are almost too perfect? You know what I mean? Like they're just so perfect that that there is only really one way to go, and sometimes that you could sort of see that if they win the start, the guy trying to get in front from behind it just continually goes backwards. They're just perfect boats.
They are, but if you look at, they have to be perfect depending on where they are. Like if they come into that leeward mark and not have, say, 500 metres in that light breeze to be able to get speed up and then bear away down to their angle. They can't even get around that leeward mark. Like you saw it happen a few times, then coming in on starboard, then underlay it by 100 or 200 metres, do a jibe way past the ley line, go up to get boat speed. Yeah, pretty well. Sailed back where they came from, trying to get boat speed so they can bear away, and then still don't make the mark.
But
that end jibe is the really critical one, I reckon.
But that situation there we're talking about here is in the sort of the borderline seven knot range. When we get to that 8 to 9 knots, that's when I'm talking. We got these real one-way tracks once the boats are going, because and Barcelona's notorious for it. I mean, it's a tricky place to sail at the best of times. But if you're not in the lead and not taking, and these guys know where the wind is and where to be. If you're not in that position, you're struggling, and because the boats are just so affected by the other boat.
Excuse me, I'm just looking at today's forecast.
Now. So that's one of the things that I thought about. I may have mentioned it last week. Is that you get affected by the cover, but when you're the lead boat, you also can tack in the pressure that you want. And with the boat speed differences, 1 knot of wind, it could be 4 knots of boat speed, sort of thing. And
angle.
And angle. That's right. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect example of that, Jay, was USA coming home strong the other day. They were, they were off the foils at the start, and then came home and nearly. If that course hadn't been shortened, they might have gotten. I think that was Ineos they were racing against, but they might have gotten them. They only finished 80 metres behind them.
Yep.
Yeah, I reckon it was Ineos.
Yeah.
Yep. They closed them right down. Yeah. I'm just trying to remember the detail of that race, but
it was Ineos. Really they were off the foils on the start. They came off the foils on the start, and they and this is Patriot American Magic, and they sort of hovered around that 500 metres, got within 300 metres, got 500 metres. Exactly what we said about the boat behind being totally dictated to and affected by, more than what you'd see with standard boats. But then had this little bit of breeze, little lane of breeze on the last leg downwind.
Yep.
And they were catching, and I swear to you, they shortened the course by 200 metres, or 0.2 of a nautical mile.
Yep.
And if they had that 0.2, they would have got them, which is that's what we want. We want to see overtakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people been complaining online. One of the complaints has been about the changing the course all the time. I don't have any issue, because the racers know they're going out to race for a certain time. That's it. That's the race. They're building that race around time. So the racers know exactly what's going on. They wouldn't give a toss about the race course being changed at all. They know exactly what they're dealing with. Anybody think any different?
And that protocol is so well established and written down, and it's regimented. The race officers really just executing. Their opinion isn't coming into it. This is a very objective kind of way of doing it.
The lady who gives it's quite authoritative, I found.
She's tiny. She's a tiny little human. She's not very big, but she does have a good
arguments.
voice.
Competitors in race 4, the race is alive.
But we're going to be talking about light air for a while, boys, because not much coming in.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I was just saying off air to the boys that Britton Ward obviously designed American Magic the Patriot, and he said that there's more chance of a heart attack in under 9 knots than over 9 knots. Yeah, so he's sitting there watching it all happen. Pretty sure that those shore crews and coaches are just waiting for it to fall off the foils and go, well, that's that race done.
Yeah. Well, was it
Which
USA?
Is kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Correct.
USA, Italy. Was it USA, Italy that the Italians had the smaller jib on?
Good point.
They had the J2 on, and then they were going quicker downhill, and they had a higher top end speed. And then I think it was US, Italy, and the Poms, the Yanks. Sorry, the US were just not able to hit as quick a speed, and the Italians eventually, the Yanks led them, and then they got past, and then away Italy went. I don't know if you guys. That was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first race.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yep. First
race.
Yeah.
Correct. First race yesterday. Little few comments on there. I thought that they that America didn't really consolidate that first third of the upwind leg. I thought that they could have been a bit more aggressive, but in saying that, I'm not on the boat. But when you look at it from a TV perspective, Luna Rossa made gains in the right hand side, and American Magic just kept sort of tacking back to the left, and so it was an interesting ploy.
Right, I got to ask.
I was doing it for the viewers. It was great racing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, no question. Yeah.
Was that the race that one had, like you said, one had a 2 up and the other one had a 1 up?
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Yeah,
they were talking about the
drag.
You've got to, that's it. What outweighs each other, the size of the sail or the drag.
Yep.
I found that really interesting because I would have thought, just trying to build up speed, you can see how much they change their sail shape, their mainsail.
Yeah.
Sail shape changes unbelievably the depth.
Yep.
From when they're trying to get them up and straight after the tack just to be able to generate speed. That was really good watching that.
Yeah. All right. So you started on it before, Fritz, where you said there's 3 boats you think that are quick and there's 2 sort of next level. Which boats do you think are quick?
The ones that look to me?
Yep.
I was definitely the Kiwis.
Yep.
Definitely the Italians.
Yep.
And the Yanks.
Yep.
I reckon those 3 look the best and are being sailed the best. Then the next 2 would be the that look the best is the Swiss and the French. And to me, the British boat just doesn't look quick.
Yep.
But they're leading the event so far.
Yep.
Well, it might be, but it doesn't look quick to me.
Yep.
I'm not saying it is or isn't, and they know a lot more about it than I do. If you're asking a layperson what they think about it, that's my opinion.
You're hardly a layperson.
No, but I mean, I don't know that much about the cup boats really compared to what they do. I know nothing about them.
What about you, Nick? Are you saying anything different to that?
Oh, the Poms have got more sail area up.
Yeah.
If you look at their hull. I came to a pretty similar conclusion, and this was before Dad and I were even talking, which we often do go through little phases where we don't talk to each other. But you look at the Yank boat, that was probably my pick for the, someone thinking outside the box with their incumbent cyclers and that low profile. I mean, that just looks fast. The Kiwis you expect to be quick, and Luna Rossa, that's just every bit of detailing on that boat is well thought out.
Yeah, it's stunning, isn't it?
I haven't seen a wrinkle in those sails even when they're pulling them down.
She's perfect.
That's a good observation. Because on a few of the other teams, you actually see a bit of not as tidy looking, but the Italians look slick as. I'm actually expecting to walk down there this morning and they're all wearing suits.
Yeah.
That's how clean they look.
Even the way they talk on the boat.
Yeah.
They seem to have a really good chemistry between the 2 skippers, Spittle and the Italian. Yeah. Bruni. Yeah. It everything seems really calm. Not the others don't either, but I don't know. The chemistry feels better on their boat.
Yeah, probably the Kiwis as well. I mean, Pete.
Maybe we've seen less of them.
They have a really good one.
When they race, yeah.
But you're right. Between Jimmy and Bruni, it's pretty nice.
Well, 2 cups ahead, 1 cup ahead of what the other guys have been doing it.
It's amazing, though, because you would have thought the other teams would have been able to catch up with that. And I do sense a little kind of, I don't know, some attention in different boats at different times. When things start going bad on Luna Rossa, it's Jimmy's a really calming voice. It's a very, no worries. That's what we expected. We expected to throw that tack away. No worries.
Okay, Bicey, this one's for you, mate. Onto American Magic. They've got the trimmer and the helmsman next to each other. Now, I've come to the conclusion that it's for the high five.
They've actually got to cut out on Slinger's side so it can have a dry rope instead.
Now, I actually saw one yesterday. It's 100%. It's for the high five.
Wow. So,
otherwise, you turn around, you could risk poking someone's eye out. That wouldn't be any good.
not to be bagging the Poms or anything, but when I look at the Pom boats, everything big, like if I look at those helmets, you can see every helmet on that pond boat sitting above the shear line of the hull, whereas all the others have got one, maybe two heads sticking up there, helmets. It doesn't look as aerodynamic. It just doesn't. I'm not saying to me it doesn't seem as fast.
Yeah,
it might be harder to get up to speed.
Had a skipper's change too, right?
Yeah, they did. And he's a lot bigger guy that went off too.
Yeah, so Giles stepped off and Dylan Fletcher stepped on. Dylan is a lot smaller than Giles, both are gold medalists. Dylan, obviously, he's a pretty shit hot.
That could be the actual issue with the Ineos boat. It's a bit weighed down by all the gold medals.
All the gold medals.
Well, the other issue we're starting to come into play here is the reverse curse.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a couple of reverse curses going on there.
I do want to highlight something about the three boats that the two boys have named. They're each the three boats that have got Australian skippers on board. Have you thought of that?
Which is good because we're not biased.
We're not biased.
That's it.
The Australian Boating Cup.
Yeah.
I think Jordan, just on that point, I mean, where I thought those three boats had, they seem like they had the most competitive two-boat in-house AC40 programs.
Okay. Interesting.
Some of the stuff on American Magic and Team New Zealand in particular, they did a lot of intense kind of racing that kind of came through on the recon footage in that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a little bit of a factor when the boats are so close together.
Could be. To me, at the moment, given the conditions and what we're seeing, the Italian boat to me looks the fastest to me because it's the one that's got the most penalties, which means it keeps catching up after penalties. It's not getting hindered.
That was pretty impressive, wasn't it? 3 penalties.
Oh, that was a great race.
And then it just kept catching back up. It was insane. So good.
I must admit on that point that the Italians or Luna Rossa they definitely seem more aggressive on the start line as well. Remember they pretty well took American Magic out of it. So that they're definitely going to be the ones to watch for that type of thing because I still reckon we're a long way off serious engagement. I think it's going to get more and more engagement in the starts.
When there's more breeze, I think for sure. Right now when it's light, to me it seems better to be in second.
But that's what we've already said, right? Just stay on the foils.
Okay.
But if you're in second, you can dictate, by jibing around and then tack or jibe before the next guy and the other one sitting in your dirty air straight away.
Yeah. I completely forgot what I was going to say. I had a really good important point that I was going to drop on you all, but I've completely forgotten it. So.
It'll come.
You were due for one, Gordon.
Give us a ring in an hour or so.
we'll just wait here, Jay. We'll just wait here. Talk amongst ourselves for a while.
Just on that last point from Dad, though, I mean, the starboard hand entry has always had an advantage in match racing, so there's kind of nothing new there. I think it probably, by the delayed start, it's been done for a few cups now. It has opened up that opportunity a little bit.
Yep.
There is that tiny bit of advantage coming in late.
Yeah. So that you don't. By delaying them 10 seconds, you can get in. The interesting thing now is we're starting to see, for the first few races, we saw them come in, head out to the boundary and jibe around. With the lighter air, we're starting to see them tack high and make sure they're not sailing through the dirty air. And now I've thought of my point. When you mentioned extra wind, what we're going to go from is the threat of falling off the foils to we're going to start seeing rudder releases in jibes is what we've already seen a couple.
Which Luna Rossa got close a couple of times yesterday.
Yeah.
And
that will start to come into play. These sort of the mistakes that make it pressure, at pressure, you'll recover quicker from it. But we'll see a few sort of pops of rudders and stuff like that. That's what I reckon. But that was what I'd thought.
I've got a few monuments in my shed of rudder failures in Moth. And the skinnier it is, the faster it is. And unfortunately, the skinnier it is, the more expensive it is. So, that brought my Moth.
That's quite normal in life.
Yeah. now you've had kids.
Hey, Nick,
especially where we talk about
boom.
Oh, yeah, you can advertise anything you want, Nick. Go for it, bud.
It's a very good. I got one of the fastest Mach 2s in the world sitting in a shed in Adelaide. If anyone wants one,
there you go.
It's getting cheaper by the day. Follow me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, or reach out to us. We'll pass it on. Cheers at barkarati.com. We'll pass it on straight away. Great. Well prepared. The other thing is really obvious in the starts for me now with this lighter stuff is there's a heavy desire to be leading back first to the start line. Like if I was coaching, I'd be just going, you've got to push them or slow them up as long as they don't get a hook on you and you can lead back, because they just, if you lead back, you know, it's the number one thing at the moment, I reckon. They're all trying to don't have to sail through the dirty air.
Well, that's why that starboard tack, you know, the later entry is better. They just drive around behind them and then they're pretty well in control.
Yep.
But I've only really seen the Kiwis do a nice high mode
out
and bouncing them off before they reach the boundary, as opposed to most boats now just tacking on the star line, right?
I thought Patriot did a nice one against, was it the Kiwis?
The Italy
that was in the preliminary regatta.
In more breeze.
Yeah.
And the Italians did one where they went up high and sat up high, well above the start line, then came bombing down, went underneath, got a hook, and totally, I can't remember who it was with now, but totally destroyed someone. And I was just like, when I saw that, I thought,
both times were in more breeze though.
Yeah. Fully. Yeah. You have to lead back in this really, really light stuff. Where you're worried about coming off the foils, you've got to lead back. It's everything. Absolutely. And that's why we saw Ineos head out and break the golden rule of match racing. And the Italians they went all the way out to the boundary, which gave them, there was no pressure. So they could break the rule because there was no boat chasing them. So, if I was the Italians, you could have done typical match racing, just kept pushing the poms out and tacked and come back and gone across the line in port, and been leading for a while. I think that was a mistake from the Italians and brilliant tactics from the UK by getting away with it.
Yeah, it's creative.
It's very creative. That's one thing I'm interested in, how much the coaches sitting around. Like, Bryce, you remember when we were doing Volvo, all our best ideas came sitting around having a few beers after the day's work, like all our best ideas. I wonder how much of that is in the coaching program.
You reckon they've got a few fridges under there, under the seats in the chase boat?
Yeah, 100%.
If you stay on the foils,
got a couple of chili buns in there.
Yeah, go on, Fritz.
If you stay on the foils, the most critical part is that start and the leeward marks. You have to be able to get around those leeward marks cleanly and doing that 30 knots when you hit there pretty well. If you go in there and can't make the mark and then try and get back to the other one, it's game over. You're off the foil straight away. So that jibe into the leeward mark from the boundary or wherever you do it should really be dictated by how far you've got to, if you can't make it, that jibe to come back to the boundary. If you drop on the boundary too close that you end up with only, say, under 400 metres to go to the ley line, I don't think you've got enough speed in this light stuff to be able to jibe around and get around that mark. So you really probably have to jibe 200 yards before the boundary to get back over the other side to be able to have enough room on your next jibe to get speed, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Okay.
It's not going to the boundary on the last jibe if you can't make the mark.
Yeah, you're better off doing two short ones early rather than two
shorter ones. So you're going to have boat speed when you come to that last jibe.
Yep.
And lay the mark.
It's a real game changer. I think there was one race there where the wind was really starting to die out, and one boat was coming upwind and the other was going downwind, and they were both trying to stay on the foil, and they were basically just reaching side to side. And I think it was the Americans, because they ended up running down in displacement mode.
Two laser sailors.
Yeah.
They were going to stand up next, start rocking.
Waiting for a bit of goose wing action.
That's a really difficult
Pole out the jib.
But like you said, they know all the speeds and the angles in what sort of breeze to get up and foil.
Yeah.
And so they know 10 times more than what we do about it. But it seems to be a really critical point of the race in that light stuff, that leeward mark.
Well, that finish you were just mentioning then, Jay, was the French just got up onto the foils, and so the Americans went, well, how long we got to the finish line in displacement mode?
Yep.
And they just went, stuff it. We're going there.
Yep.
You've got to make that decision too, right?
But what would they have done if they actually had to get around that mark? They would have had to get up and try and foil.
Yeah. Different strategy then. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you one thing we're pretty lucky with.
What's
that?
That?
They actually changed the configuration of the boats from last time in the sense of, no structure for a bowsprit or anything like that. Yep. Otherwise, no one will be foiling at all.
The last generation of boats in this weather, we would be having a very different conversation.
Yeah.
Or no conversation at all.
Yeah.
Well, they can tow them up
go
too.
back to J24s.
Well, I think we're going to touch on that in a minute about the comments we're getting, we're generally seeing across the board, and I'm sure we'll touch on that in a minute.
Yeah. I do find that all funny, but one of the things I was thinking about with the Italian boat, how I was saying how it's definitely fast. I reckon the Italians, the team, know it's fast, and the way they're sailing the boat is pretty nonchalant because they're just going, well, we're fast, let's not stress about that. Let's just go and do this off by ourselves. Very happy to split off by themselves and get as much, just let the boat loose, It's
but everything they say is it gives them reason to think that. They say, all right, let's let them go. We're better off doing one and in rather than do two tacks and cover them here, right? And potentially lose 100 yards, and to still stay in front. But it's a different world now.
Well, that's what I was just about to say, Fritz, that it's a different mindset. It's 100% different mindset. Whereas in the old days, you'd be trying to permanently attack and lamp on them. Now you're trying to just get around the corner.
Find the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we went down to, say, 6.5 knots after attack. So we lose 2 knots of boat speed.
Yeah.
Well, it was still a lot back then, but it wasn't anything
You're
like
not losing 25 knots of boat speed.
No, and 25 degrees of angle.
It's all true.
Yeah.
But it still comes down a bit to basically it's pressure. You got to find the pressure still on the course.
Sure.
Yeah.
Correct. I think that's the critical thing. I reckon that is, nail your starts, be really smart tactically off the start, and then just stay in that pressure. And I think that's where, if I said to you, not who's the best boat, but which team do you reckon sailing their boat the best, which is sailing tactically the best? Like if you took them out of their boat and put them into another boat, they'd still be going really well. Like, is there any team where you look at the sailors and going, well, they're sailing really well?
Well, if you go back to what you said, if you go back to what I can't remember if Brett might have said it, that the Italians, they feel good in the boat, they talk good in the boat, they know, or you said, Jordan, they know they've got a fast boat.
Yeah.
If you put them in a slower boat, would the same thing be happening? No, I don't think so.
No, I agree.
I
reckon it's American Magic. I reckon that boat's being sailed really well. I thought the Pom sailed really well last night, but I think American Magic is definitely sailing well, and the Kiwi boat is just right there as well. And it comes down to the team, like you said it at the start, I think, Fritz. And I talked to Slingsby about this. I said to him, the strength of the problem with these boats is it's all about how you sail as a team, understanding what you do, how it affects everyone else on the boat. And that team combo, in Sail GP, they've had it because they've sailed together for so long. I said, what about with American Magic? And he said, oh, yeah, that's a big part of our strategy. It's quite a significant part of how we are building up this race. It's not just about the boat, the rig, the layout, but actually how we get that intrinsic understanding of each other. And they were really conscious of it a year out. So I think the American...
it's a good point. I mean, the boats that I don't think are being sailed to their full potential yet, I mean, that the French would have to be an obvious candidate. They've only just got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just thinking about it now, that the UK boat might also still have some potential in its pocket and all that kind of stuff. And
well, that was the article, right? We think we've got the boat with the most potential.
Yep.
Read into that how you will.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I mean, they're all good sailors at that level, all good coaches.
No, 100%.
I was thinking about it before. If your coach is popping beers, that's either a really good thing or a really bad thing.
It's just, for me, it's just a pity it's this kind of semi-marginal foiling. Just completely changes all the tactics.
It does.
I mean, none of us are in a position to tell them what they should be doing, because let's face it, they've been there, done that, and plus. So, but it's, if we're only just looking and giving opinions, that's how it stands out to individual people.
Another question I have to throw out before we get on to some of the keyboard warrior stuff. How do you reckon the crane driver in Barcelona?
The sweat he would have had.
Yeah. Like,
would it be one of the team? The team would have been the crane driver.
That's what I'm wondering. You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Would have been one of the team members.
Wow.
Doesn't really matter who it was. He would be still, I'll put it in Ainsley's words, he'd be shitting bricks.
Yeah. We haven't really heard what exactly happened, right?
Oh, I sent you a video. I found a video.
Yeah, but what did the cable slip?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah. Copy. It didn't hit as bad as, like when I first saw the report, 6 metre drop. It didn't drop like 6 metres kapunk. It's sort of like if you were lifting a dinghy onto its dolly and you had wet hands and you slipped as you did the big heave over the top. Like it's going to do a bit of impact damage, but she should be right as rain now. But
I was in the reception of the hotel in Portales where probably 5 or 6 of the TPs were, and you could see everyone's phones start dinging. Ding, ding, ding. Going around, everyone looking, but like just utter disbelief.
Well, how surprising was it? Were you more surprised about what happened and how it happened, or how quickly it all got fixed from being
not surprised about how quickly it got fixed?
Yeah.
How quickly it got to start with. They were saying they'd be lucky to do any more races at all until the Cup.
It did sound like that. But yeah.
Well, it would have been. They would have been looking at it, and it would have looked probably pretty horrible. But as they sort of tapped it and worked out the damage, I mean, and I think we pretty well knew that they were gonna turn it around pretty quick by the time it wasn't majorly structural.
After they put the first coat of looking at it on, I then got into it.
I did see young Dan Green doing a bit of the work in the layup there, boss. So you might have to have a bit of a chat to him if you see him roaming around.
Absolutely.
All right. There has been a lot of complaints. Like I'll watch a Facebook page. I think it's called America's Cup 37 or something, and there's a lot of people that clearly just want to take the piss out of everything. They're not happy about the boats. They're not happy about the racing. They're not happy about the change of courses. They didn't realise that the Kiwis were sailing the round robin to the Louis Vuitton Cup. Do you think people should be allowed to put their opinions on the internet?
Hide comments.
They should start a podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As soon as I said it, I knew that was going to come back at me.
What do I think? But imagine if they had social media back in the days when the sails went, white and triangle instead of square riggers.
Exactly what I was going to say. I'm glad there wasn't any social media back then.
Because
at least cameras as well.
Yeah.
No, but the point is, and we said this last week. I think, Jay, the Cup is technology, and these people want to go and sail those old 12 meters. That's great. Good on them. But the Cup will never stop. That's my point.
The point is, if they want that, it's there. Like literally, it's in the background. Still there. You can see the 12 metres of racing. It's full coverage. You can watch it. Or the J classes are out there racing as well. Like it's all there. The only thing that's not there are the old AC boats. I haven't seen. They all disappeared pretty quick. But
we know where they went.
Yeah.
But you're right, Jordan. I mean, at any point in time, and today there's 2 races in the TPs.
Yeah.
You want some good, solid fleet racing.
It's all there.
That's it right there.
Yeah. So it's no point complaining about it. Like, I think a few sort of or decent sailors have been on there. It's just, I think I've seen Dolly DeVola just making some points about that. Like, it's all there. You can go and watch it. So
how's this for you then?
Yeah.
If they went to the Sail GP format, fleet racing, at least for some part of it, is that going to lift people's interest? Putting the weather to the side, wouldn't really.
I reckon it would.
Stuff, but
I'd like to see that for a few preliminary rounds, say, not the end Louis Vuitton Cup or anything, but I think it add a bit of spice to it for people.
Ooh, spice right, she's high risk too.
Oh yeah,
high risk.
It's easy to do
too.
High
risk. You don't have to do
it. The cup itself is a challenge trophy. It's one boat against one boat.
Yeah.
You obviously have a Louis Vuitton Cup to pick a challenger out of that, and maybe have defender trials. Everything before that is a commercial exercise to try and pay their way a little bit.
Right.
And so I think the preliminary regattas in the AC40s, they were good. I think what this one might have been missing was maybe a go in the AC75s with enough time to make any changes to the boats to have an impact on the Louis Vuitton Cup and create that kind of intrigue. But apart from that,
okay.
Mess with
if you were
either
defender or challenger, you couldn't care if there's 1 or 2 other boats. At the end of the day, it's about winning the America's Cup.
Okay.
Yep.
How about this then? You are the principal of America's Cup team. You've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. You've spent all this time and money and research. You've got a whole team of people that have been training for 4 years. Do you give a flying toss whether people like the product or not? You just want to win the cup, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Maybe their sponsors, though, Jordan, wouldn't have got on board unless they got those that sort of money, more boats involved or a bit more advertising.
I think the secret with that, in response to that, Fritz, is that it's the build-up with the cup, because it's all this technology, all the training, and it's been in the media the whole way. And so if you've put a bit of money in, you're probably like you back a Volvo campaign, you get 9 months or 12 months. You don't get a huge amount of the build-up, but with a cup, you've got the whole 3 or 4 years of build-up, getting some coverage. So
they're doing corporate work the whole time.
Yeah, your media return would be pretty bloody good, despite whether you go out in the cup in the first week or in. I don't think Orient Express, the sponsor, they're in for 2 cups. I don't think they really expect the French to go through, and their sponsorship wouldn't be based on how they perform in this cup. I wouldn't have imagined. I think that they'd be pretty happy just to get.
Probably only imagine Team New Zealand are at that level, to tell you the honest truth.
Of what? Needing to.
That they have to win the cup to continue on.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're in for 3 editions.
Yep.
A crazy world, isn't it?
All the Ratcliffe, he won't be pulling out anytime soon.
No.
You wouldn't imagine.
No.
French are in for a couple.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested.
I mean,
go on, Nick.
Oh, your point there, Jordan. I mean, the cup isn't for the people. I mean, no matter how much people like to think it is or look back to Fremantle and think it was. I mean, there's a bunch of other events, as everyone has said, where people can watch good yacht racing and try and get involved in it, or think it trickles down and is relevant to what they're up to. The cup's a cup. It's a battle between yacht clubs and egos, and the people are very secondary to that kind of thing. The irony being, this is the people's panel, of course.
What year were you born,
Nick?
What Nick? What year?
87.
87.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were busy. You were busy, Fritz.
You were busy.
at the very start.
Was that?
I'm the reason he wasn't there in '92.
Was it just a bit of pressure release, and it happened, and because you were under pressure? I just joined the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and I never met you, but I just joined it, and it was a hive. Hey?
Sorry, Jordan.
The CYC was alive, was it?
Yeah, Jordan. You asked me whether there was anything I wanted deleted.
Actually, I think it was the Yacht Squadron that were running, not the CYC at that time.
Oh yeah, but it was there was a few people floating around. You know.
Maximum fever.
Yeah.
Oh look, we were lucky. Let's face it. Doesn't look like that's ever going to happen to South Australia again. So
No, but
it is what it is.
wasn't that one of your favourite banters, Fritz?
Oh yeah,
that you'd seen Nick's mum in the nude. Is that where it all started?
Well, Andrea's the one that told me to say that going into the start. I'm not smart enough to think that.
I love it. She's good fun, your missus. Yeah. So on that, Fritz, you are not shy of a little bit of discussion out in the water. How do you think you'd go, like, if you use some of your personality out there?
I don't think I'd get a gig.
You don't? Oh.
No.
Oh.
Well, I don't know whether I could talk like they do.
No, it's very reserved.
Yeah, we got that.
Lee Bow on the Yanks coming up. Lee Bow on the Yanks.
Yeah, that's right. It wouldn't be anything like that.
Hey, one of us are going the wrong way, mate.
You're very lucky to get that kind of input. Normally, it's 4 people facing the wrong way with Dad saying, we'll go that way.
I did hear the French when they touched down the other day. I heard a loud murd come off the boat. I definitely heard that. Somebody ripped one out. They'd obviously been told not to swear. Probably not. They're probably a little more lenient in SailGP, I'll just say, but or they bip it very quick. They take it out.
I picked up on one of Ashby's.
Ashby's funny.
Lone Rosa going around the top mark, and they almost pulled the rudder out.
Yeah.
That's all the mud.
He's worth his weight in gold on that broadcast.
He's great.
Yeah, no, he's holding it together. He's holding it together. Everyone else is too serious.
Ashby. He's sliding all sorts of humour in the background.
Step it up, Ashby. I say, step it up.
Yeah.
Let's get behind him. Let's get the Ashby cheer squad together.
He's just so good. Like you said,
he knows
so much.
He knows stuff.
Yeah, he does. And he can, but the fact that he's interspersing humour into it as well, and little Aussie sayings, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
He knows everyone on every boat. He knows all the, the lingo. He knows. There isn't anything he doesn't know about the Cup.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've got to know Glenn quite well in the last 12 months or so. And this isn't even close to his full potential. He must be biting his tongue big time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, Bicey, it's time to unleash the ash. Unleash the ash. We should come up with a saying.
What do we think of the footage? You got to be happy with it, eh?
Yeah, I'd say I'm all right with it. It's not something that I thought I haven't thought about it at all. It just seems really good.
Yeah,
I'm not bagging it, so it must be all right.
Yeah. I think the cross where they do the low shots of the onboard shots where they're showing the sailors, with all their helmets and goggles and stuff on, it looks like fighter pilots. It really does. You could just put a little
from
mask.
that point of view.
Yeah, it really.
Those poor bloody bike riders, Jesus.
Oh, what a nightmare!
That would not be a good gig.
No.
Someone was telling me. Was it? Oh no, it was Mozzie. Yeah, Tom. Tom was saying that the pedal stroke of the grinder thing is that it's not like riding a bike where it's a nice circular motion. It's sort of like because you're pumping oil. It's sort of and it's so you can't get a nice rhythm going on it.
I was listening to that same thing, like the top dead centre getting over that one where you're still pushing oil. You get no inertia.
Yeah. They have to. I wonder if they've got that sort of. Remember they
got a flywheel set up.
The elliptical.
You could knock something up in the shed. Dose.
What I read. He's got to have more time once he starts firing.
No, I don't think they'd want it.
Love it. Go on, Nick.
Read the latest Seahorse because they had a profile on Glenn Ashby and he talked a lot about them trying to overcome that issue.
Yep.
Themselves in Team New Zealand back in 2017.
Okay.
And so you have to think they've done a bit of thinking since that time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, remember you can buy cranks that are elliptical just to take that top dead centre issue out. So I'm sure the teams will be all across that. Yeah.
Dad's got square cranks to match his head.
Now, Nick, you said you wouldn't be rude. You're only in the
Happy
next
Father's
room,
Day.
Jim, you know.
Well, this was always
Well, it's
bound
not
to
even
happen, wasn't it, mate?
It's not even Father's Day here because it's Hannah's birthday too.
Oh.
My sister.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Hannah. Yeah, cool.
That's the risk we run by having these two on today.
Oh, well, we do have to. I mean, we're pretty much at the end of time, but I mean, there is. I know I'm going to suffer here. I've got to do it for the sake of the broadcast. Fritz, do you have a favourite crew you've ever sailed with?
Andrea, what should I say? Crew that I ever sailed with. She's gone. Favourite crew?
No, you don't have to answer. That's unfair. I was just taking the piss.
It's got to be South Australia.
I'd have to pick a sheet hand, otherwise that would alienate someone. Sheet hand, no one. Yeah, what would I say? Stocko to start with, Clarkey, Tim Ross.
Why do you have to pick a
Barney.
sheet hand?
No, I don't. Just so I don't get you upset.
No, I thought it was. I thought it was going to be Nick because I thought getting to sail with your son.
He's sailing with me. He's going to do the Sharpie Nationals with me down in Lincoln next year.
Oh, nice, nice.
And we're all forgetting that Jordan's in charge of the audio. He's just going to splice his own name in after.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Last question: who's going to win the cup?
Italian.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, that's harder though because they have to make it first.
Yeah.
New Zealand's already in it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I'll give the answer. I gave to people a couple of weeks ago. Not that anyone asked me, but I think the American boat, just by looking at it, that looks like a fast boat.
Sure.
I tend to think now that the Italians are probably in the box seat, and you can't discount New Zealand. But I do like the way that American boat looks.
Okay. Well, we're all similar pages, I reckon. We're all very, very similar. It's hard watching.
What do you guys have to say?
Hey?
Tell us what you guys think.
Well, I think
I'm Italian all the way.
I think the Italians.
Well, Italian Kiwi final, Kiwi win.
I'm still interested what'll happen when the breeze comes up. I don't want to say because I think I'm with Nick. I think the American boat looks amazing. I think the quality of the crew on the British boat could carry them through, but you're right, Fritz. I don't think they're super quick. The Kiwis will be really hard. I think having Nath and Pete, that's a pretty formidable twosome, but so is the American Magic one.
So is Goodison and Slingsby. I mean,
are all of them.
Yeah, they're all pretty amazing. But the one at the moment that looks fast is Italy. Yeah, like they look like they can do whatever they want, and no other boat looks like they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. I'm still out on waiting to see more than 9-10 knots of breeze.
I agree.
Into that.
We can't. I mean, it's an unfair question because we haven't seen the range of breeze and pressure yet, and maybe we're not
looking at it. Double round robin doesn't look like we're getting much. So,
Ned.
So how far does your forecast go, Bicey?
Was that 7 days? I think.
We're going to see over
10
knots on any of those days.
Huh?
That gets us to the end of the round robin.
Round robin finishes 8th of September. But
it's not really it doesn't mean anything really, does it?
We lose a boat after the round robin, I think.
One.
Yep.
Well, apart from then, they wouldn't be too happy, but
yeah. But
maybe Thursday got a bit of breeze.
Yeah.
But,
I think
Hey, just one.
Go on.
One thing on the coverage, Jordan. They've got the ghost boat. They've got all this wind finder and all that, and that's brilliant and all that. I wonder if, for all the displays they've got, if they just had a percentage of that baseline polars against their baseline boat, that'd be really interesting.
So how well they're sailing the boat to the polars?
Not necessarily that boat's polars because we don't have those, but that baseline.
Oh, to that boat. Okay, to the ghost boat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to the ghost boat.
Mike, if you're listening, I think Mike Martin had a fair bit to do with that stuff, so I'm sure he listens pretty regularly. So if you're listening,
it looks like they're dropping more and more in as the coverage kind of goes on. So
it does.
Who knows what we're going to see?
Yeah, it does. It's good. All right, boys. Well, you guys are in the remotest part of Australia, and I wish you all luck. I hope you get home safe if you ever try to leave that place. But best of luck. But
we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting, boys. It's been good fun.
No worries.
Thanks, boys.
It has been.
It has been. It's good fun, isn't it? You should come on more often.
Yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
I look forward to it. I'll see you down at, I think, 5-0 Worlds. It'll be a big reunion for everyone.
Yeah, looking forward to them. There's 2 other people you could get to do this.
Yep.
Pete and Pano.
Pete and Payno. Yeah, actually, yeah, we should do that. That'd be good. Yeah.
They want unqualified people, don't they?
I love it. Cool, boys.
Cool.
Good on you, lads.
Nice, boys.
Cheers, guys.
No worries. See ya.
Just a couple of great blokes there. Like a ton of fun always to hang out with those boys. And obviously Fritz and I did get to sail together a lot and campaign and do a lot. And I think you both have sailed with Fritz. I know, Boss, you definitely have.
Had the pleasure.
I never have.
100%.
Oh,
Sailed against him.
yeah, it's hard to. You know when they turn up that it's about to get really difficult to win. You've got somebody there that's just really talented.
Put it that way, you'd rather be sailing with him than against him.
And so much
So
fun.
we had
Some of the stuff we
were
can't talk
discussing
about.
Etchells. Off air, we were discussing Etchells, and I think in the 2 regattas that we sailed against them last year, it was us
Oh, right next door.
spot for spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time. It was great.
They called, so we caught up with them because Nick's up in Gove on the Gove Peninsula, and if you're not from Oz and you don't know where the Gove Peninsula is, it's about as remote a place as you can get in the world. You should Google and see where exactly we were talking to them from, but he's moved up there with his wife's work. He can work from home, so it's very, very cool to be able to chat. I hope everyone enjoyed that. We're going to try and do some more of the people's panels, something that we want to do. There's some really
Hopefully
interesting
we just
people.
get a bit of wind.
Yeah, bit of wind.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's
Just want
That's
some
what we're
wind.
sort of waiting for, isn't it, eh?
You know where you won't get wind though, boys?
Gove.
If you go the
By
Radix
eating
Nutrition.
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
You can neither confirm nor deny
performance
such
through
a fact.
health, mate. Performance through health.
The best transition you ever offered up to me, boy.
That's what they call a segue.
I love it. No, look, obviously, if you do want to chase a bit of performance, maximise your performance potential through your health, then Radix Nutrition is the way to go. Jump onto their website, have a bit of a look. Some of the fantastic products. They've got breakfast, they've got meals, they've got protein powders, they've got accessories. There's a lot of people been getting onto Radix through Barkarati, and so we thank you for all those that have jumped on board. But yeah, if you go to their website, Radix Nutrition, use Barkarati, one word, and you'll get a discount on us, which is a good idea. Happy with that?
Bravo.
Bravo.
Cool. All right. Events coming up, boys. If you look at the run sheet, it's a pretty impressive time at the moment. We've got a few things that
going on
underway, but just kicked off is the Finn Gold Cup, which is the world champs of the Finn.
We love it.
Still massive. So that's in Aarhus in Denmark.
Have they deployed the 8 o'clock in the morning long lunch program?
No, I don't think so for the
Gold
Gold
Cup?
Cup.
Not in Aarhus.
Yeah, no.
Really?
If you like the herring, maybe.
Also, kicking off as of today, 1st of September to the 6th of September, is the Tempest World Champs in Brunnen and Lake Lucerne in Switzerland, which is absolutely beautiful place. We saw some great photos coming from there with the RC44s. Kicking off tomorrow is the 5.5 metre World Champs, which are Bernadette in France. So very much look into that. And then the M32 World Champs in at Riva in
This class just continually puts along in the background, doesn't it?
Yeah. But holy
Love it.
dooly, all the top pros in the world are spread thin at the moment. Spread thin.
Well, not to mention when you actually start looking into September, like you J70s in Palma, you got obviously Maxi Worlds, you got everything happening here in Barcelona.
Yeah.
It's geez, busy times, boys.
She's busy. Very,
Well,
very
busy times in Europe, let's say.
We'll transfer. So, yeah, good luck to everyone competing in those events. The Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, presented by our friends at Vycobi. Vycobi doing all the performance wear. So, if you need a new harness or buoyancy vest or hiking pants or just gloves or any sailing kit, they make some brilliant kit, and they are supporting it by providing $200 Aussie voucher to the listener of the month. And we've had some great ones come through, gentlemen. Absolutely crackers. Doug Hansen sent some stuff on Instagram. So he's got an Instagram page called race.havoc. Did you guys have a look at that yet? It's funny.
I've seen it on the edge, yes.
Yeah, it's funny. So just they're having a good old time. It looks like a sailing team. They've called themselves Race Havoc. And they've just put a lot of humour to all their posts on Instagram. So if you're looking to kill a bit of time one day, jump on board and have a look at that. Very much appreciate you reaching out, Doug. It is very cool. We got a couple of cool emails come in. So we announced a couple of weeks ago Mike Khalil was getting married, and he was doing some photos and doing the Dylan Open. I think you guys all remember.
Yep, the Dylan Open. I
think we decided that he was going to be the listener of the month, and because he wrote such a beautiful file, well, he sent us a whole bunch of photos of his wedding, which he used the event photographer to get some photos through, and I think that was pretty cool. And then he gave us a whole rundown about what they're up to. So the Dylan Open was running one, and just letting you know, we had a fantastic event. Couldn't have gone better. Got the photos. He found another creative way to abuse his Vice Commodore privileges, and the Commodore was also involved. We only had 3 J80s racing this year, so a PHRF fleet. I gave my good friend and closest competitor a special bow number, 666. I didn't want the other J80 to feel left out, so I gave them number 69. And for my boat, Hold My Beer, we had the bow number 1. Seemed fair to me. So all weekend we were racing the devil and some weird pervert. Guess what? We got first. It was very happy. So, and then he just talks about his adventures. They're about to step away from the J80, and him and his new bride, Stephanie, will be going on their long honeymoon, which means moving on to their Saga 43, currently waiting for them in Sydney, British Columbia. And they're going to spend at least a year cruising, and very much likely longer, take 2 to 3 years to complete a circumnavigation. So, Bicey, he's asked for you to get the brisket ready.
Brisket is on.
Don't start the smoker now, but we'll have a look out, and at some time in your summer of 26, 27, he will be calling past, he reckons. So thanks for all the great laughs. We'll stay in touch.
Right.
Love it.
I'll keep the lump charcoal to the side just for now.
Yeah. Love it.
Might be a bit early to get started on that one.
It might be just a bit. And then I think Chris Gartnam also sent some stuff sent us a photo of the Barcarati.
Yeah, this is cool. Banner
up behind the bar there, right during the race. So that was very cool. So thanks. What was the run? They had Mount Gay in front, sign just in front. But yeah, we got the image of Barcarati up there as well. So that was pretty cool. What else, boys? What else? Phil Shearer.
Phil Shearer.
He came in with some cup stuff, didn't he? What did Phil want us to tell us? So, Phil, I've been watching the America's Cup, and I also watch Sail GP. I appreciate the technology and skills involved in sailing these boats. I believe Sail GP produces a better event to watch on TV. You get better connection to what the sailors are doing. You see the helm turning the wheel, the wing trimmer pulling on the rope, and the grinders grinding. The crew run back and forth across the boat, sometimes falling or slipping. In the AC, you see four heads sitting there looking around. You can't see what they're doing. And then he goes on saying the cats have a smoother transition from floating to falling. The AC boats need to be kept on the falls, as falling off them means race over. Not quite, we're discovering. AC boats are difficult to sail. There's less boat-on-boat action, and the pre-start is about positioning your boat, trying to put the other boat at disadvantage. The AC boats are affected by disturbed air more than the cats, making it harder to get and stay close. If sailing becomes grinding or pumping oil while computer sails the boat, I'll take up golf. I'd kill myself before taking up golf, Phil. What do you reckon, boys? We discussed that pretty well.
I mean, this is everything we discussed, isn't it?
All very valid.
All very valid.
No, 100%. It's everything we discussed, and it's got everyone talking. So I guess I guess that's what we've already discussed.
Oh, look, I'm loving the Cup. I'll be honest.
Yeah, man, me too.
I think we're just getting to watch some really interesting sailing. I guess if you're right at the top level, you can see some pretty amazing stuff going on. So that sounded like I'm saying right at the top level. But anyway, I'm loving the Cup. The other one we got was from Mike Doherty, which on Instagram, he sent us a photo of the Obama. I think he did a speech where he was famously taking the piss out of Trump with his crowd sizes and using his hands and obviously implying something. He
he was talking about when he was on starboard coming into the
Baccarati.
They were coming in on the port lay. Yeah, no, he was definitely talking about Baccarati.
He was going Baccarati. I love it. So yeah, appreciate that one, Mike. Very, very cool. Very cool.
Righto.
Not the most smooth transitions for me during that whole segment, so apologies for the listeners.
It's hot time with Bice.
Interesting how you dance differently, Bice, in the Spanish. More of a Spanish feel.
It's a bit like that, the dancing emoji on your phone.
Yeah.
If you can imagine that.
But you did the whole castanettas. Is that what they're called? When you
the flamenco.
You was doing the flamenco moves.
The castanettas.
I think Bice would be like, if you hadn't been a good sailor, Bice, I reckon.
Speaking of the flamenco, sorry, Jordan.
Yeah.
BP must have been doing the flamenco in Canada.
Yeah.
Must have been.
Given we received a rating this week.
Yeah, 5 stars.
We get rating updates every week. Well, not every week, every month, just through the podcast and stuff. But we also received a review. BP is our favourite. What did it exactly say?
Magic.
Jordan?
Magic.
Yeah. BP
is my favourite. 5 stars. And then love, River and Coral's mum. Canada.
No idea.
Well, River and Coral aren't born yet. But you better get back to Canada soon.
No. But let me tell you, there was a lot of discussion about Baccarati and a lot of promotion done at the Collingwood Yacht Club, and it was good. It was good.
I love it.
It's good to get new listeners on board, but I honestly don't know.
For those who don't know, BP,
you're going to upset.
You are
River
quite
and Coral right now.
Yeah. You would have been up on stage. You would have played the guitar. You would have been entertaining the crowd. You're not. You wouldn't have been sitting in the corner like I would be, being really
funny
quiet.
You should say, actually, we did have the Poutine Festival on, which is basically chips and gravy.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of acoustic guitaring going on, and I did get up and play a couple of numbers. You're right. Whipped out a couple of Pearl Jam songs there, Bicey.
Oh, yeah, just like the old days down the club.
On you, BP.
Just like the old days.
On you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Rightio, boys.
I couldn't find a bottleneck slide, though, to rip out a bit of Infinity, obviously our theme song.
Yeah.
And the guy who I borrowed the guitar off wouldn't have liked it if I tuned his guitar in F, because it would have changed his whole set.
Yep.
Yeah, no good.
So
anyway, boys, back to the yachting.
Right.
Yes.
We didn't even talk about the positions during our chat.
Yep.
But America's Cup, in the American Boating Cup, currently, what are we? We're not quite halfway through.
Yeah, not quite. We're 11 races down.
And Luna Rosa top of the table with 3 wins. Ineos 2 wins, 1 loss. New York, American Magic 2-2. Orange Express 1 win, 2 losses, and unfortunately for Alinghi Red Bull Racing, sitting at the bottom of the ladder at the moment with 3 losses. So yeah, double round robin. Who's going to go home? That's the question.
Yeah. So one boat gets gazumped or gets bumped.
Correct.
Which is a little bit harsh, I think. But
time in between, and then we're going to see the Youth Cup, America's Cup coming up. So and Women's America's Cup as well. So still plenty of action going on the water. And then 52 Super Series, boys. I was lucky enough to be there, witness what's going on. 13 52s.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? It just stays strong.
Stays strong.
What a day!
I mean, 13 is, you chat to all the board. It's a different racetrack out there now, with the common theme coming away that anyone can lose a race.
Well,
with 13. So,
I'm guessing you didn't talk to the platoon boys when you turned up for yesterday because, their whole regatta turned around yesterday. They didn't get any.
Certainly did. They've gone from, the heroes to having a bit of a shocker yesterday.
Yeah.
Still ahead with one day to
but they were
last day,
miles in
2
front.
races to go.
Yeah.
The Gladiator is on the march.
Yeah.
I tell you, they're strong.
It was a bit more wind, wasn't it? It'd been light.
Fresh off the World Championships as well, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quantum are always good, always going to be there. But Gladiator, they've had it this mid part of the season. Very nice. Very nice. Platoon undertook some changes between last regatta and this regatta with a new ill fin, I understand. So they jumped out the blocks, like I said, but yesterday not so good. So, yeah, let's stand by, see what happens today. 2 races. Probably going to be a bit of a replica of what I did a few days ago with screen set up everywhere, trying to watch everything, not to mention Grand Prix on as well.
Yes, it's true.
That'll be the ultimate test.
Good times.
All those running. How much yachting you reckon I'll be watching?
All of
it. No, absolutely. So that's the second last 52 event, with the last event in Valencia, end of September.
Yeah, good luck to you.
What else have we got on? The Archipelago Raid.
Oh, yeah, that finished. We talked about that last week, but the reason I put that in there is that there's I sent a video to you. The song. Did you guys, the Archipelago Raid, how's BP, you've got some challenge coming at you, mate.
Yeah, like I said, I did put together a few lyrics for the Keeper of the Curse, so I'm going to have to get some tunes happening.
Yeah. But so Archipelago Raid, Stockholm Archipelago Raid, they published it on their Facebook, so just search the Stockholm Archipelago Raid, and they did a 3-minute highlight package, but the song that they wrote, somebody...
Got some good words.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Totally relates to all of us.
Everything.
Everyone will understand what she's going on about.
Full sailor. It was a sailor for sure. It was just wanted to share that. And then, I think now everyone just heard BP. You've been writing a song, so I'm interested. Just have to put some music to it.
That's it.
Love it. What else we got rolling, boys?
I did want to mention the Magenta Project.
Yes, of course.
So what they're doing, obviously the Magenta Project have got this great thing where they're doing a whole bunch of mentoring. And what they've actually decided to do now with their mentoring program is help guide people in management and media. So for onboard reporters or PROs, media moguls, operation gurus and writing leaders, this one's for them. So you want to reach out to the Magenta Project if you want to be either a mentoree or a mentor. And the applications close at the right about now, actually. You want to jump onto that straight away. Only just saw it this week, and
but basically covering all facets of what's happening in the yachting world.
I'd say that they'll push that. They published on the 30th of August, and they say the applications close 31st. So I think maybe they meant that the program opened on the 31st. Otherwise, that's a bit ridiculous. But anyway, just search Magenta Project, and you'll be able to find out all about that. I do want to mention that one. I think that's pretty important. Good relationships with that little team. Apart from that, I don't know, what else you got? Anything else, boys, that we need to mention?
No, I think that's us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Till next week.
Be looking forward to some close-up reviews from our mate Bicey over there on the ground.
Here.
So
when are you on the road again, BP?
I fly next Sunday, but I'm via San Francisco, so got a bit on before I get that way. But we'll see how it goes.
Got Yester sorted?
Yeah. I'm actually going to the States this time. This time.
There you go.
Yes. Well, you're good. You've got your extra in place. Just travel safe. Obviously, Bice, get us all sorts of inside goss from the Cup.
Oh, 100%.
See what you can find out. And super yachts and TPs and everything is to have the best time. And I'm sure plenty of our listeners that are sniffing around Barcelona will be able to try and work out who you are if they haven't seen your face.
Well, I'll be the one with the big bar karate, like a cape, as a matter of fact.
Oh. Baccarati cape.
Baccarati cape with his undies on the outside.
I was literally driving into town in the taxi last night. Who's the first person I see in America's Cup kit? Ian Murray.
Oh, beautiful.
Yelling out the taxi window.
Hey, what are you doing? Didn't we do that when we arrived in Villanova last year?
Exactly.
The first person we saw walking down the street. He goes, "Oh, here's trouble.
Baccarati.
Here's trouble.
He's out for a jog.
Yeah. Nice.
All
right, boys.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Remember to reach out at cheers@baccarati.com. You've got one more week to submit any sort of correspondence to win the Waikobi Listener of the Week, our month. And beyond that, enjoy all your viewing and sailing, and best of luck to those competing. And remember, if you go to Radix Nutrition, their website, use the code word Baccarati.com, get a discount on it. Have a great week. Speak to you soon.
I've got the photo.
Oh, yeah.
See you, boys.
See you later.